Ooh, Winter Wars. Welcome back to more Cursed Lands. This will be the last videos I'm going to put up before I have a little very slight hiatus of about a week or so. So let's get stuck into it, shall we? Load game. I just need to know what time it is. I know what time to stop at. Yep. Is it hard? I live with it. Anyway, I'm glad to hear that Grimoire has treated you well. Da, 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 da. So am I. Thanks for bringing me here, Daniel. When we fled from here from Hammerhands, I never dreamed it might be the city I'd fallen in love with. I talk with Varel. I meet Varel at the infirmary in Grimoire in the early morning before dawn breaks. Well, you're up awfully early. But whereas I am, sickness never sleeps. But do you? I sleep when I can, sometimes at night, sometimes during the daylight. I think we might investigate the Blighted Woods today. Is now a good time for you? Good time or bad, it has to be done. Who else? And I'll do it now. Wow, we should head out before the sun gets too high in the sky. Let's go then. We arrive at the edge of Noir's plains. Just the first rays of sun had barely crested the horizon. By my estimation, we have around half an hour to get to the Blighted Woods before the sun gets high enough in the sky to blind us through the mist. And when the sun has risen, by that time we'll be out of the sunlight and into the woods. No risk of being blinded there. We'll be stuck in the woods until nightfall, but we can't cross these plains by daylight. Yes, I hope that's not a problem for you. It isn't now, but I'm sure what we'll encounter. But I'm not sure what we'll encounter in the woods. Only one way to find out. You know, watch out. The plains of Namar. The more they surprise us, the more they feel the same. I guess I should know better than to feel surprised at the sight of zombies wandering the fields of Noir. There's the woods. Let's not waste any time out here. These woods are covered in mist, just like the plains. Indeed they are. Did you expect anything different? I guess not. These mists cover all of Noir, and it makes sense that they would cover the woods as well as the plains, but knowing something and seeing it in front of your eyes are two different things. We can't see far in these woods, but I can see the river from here. And if I'm not mistaken, the river is the only landmark we need. The rumours you heard placed the jewel wart in the lake at the end of this river, is that right? Yes. Then let's follow the river. Varel and I tread through the forest, following the path carved out by the winding river. Varel leads the way, staying close enough to keep the rushing water in sight, but never venturing too close to the river's bank. Scared of water, Varel? Scared of water, no, but I do fear that what might be lurking under its surface. Still to be cautious. Da, 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 da. I'm glad you're willing to admit fear. Fear is something some people seem to be ashamed to admit, but I've found that a healthy fear of death is one of the most precious assets an adventurer can have. We tread through the forest, fading areas where the trees are thin enough to let the sun through. The light is enough to see by, but not so bright as to blind us when scattered by the fog. As we scan the woods while pressing forward, I found the feeling almost familiar. This feels just like treading the plains of Namar by moonlight. I was thinking the same thing. And yet we haven't seen any undead. Well, it's the middle of the day. The daylight, scant though it may be, is still daylight. Good point. Varel and I continue following the river deep into the heart of the woods. The air grows thicker with the fetid odour of rotting corpses, but no threats emerge to challenge us. We finally enter a river which empties into a large lake. Here we are. Do you know how to find this jewel wart reacts under light. The sunlight here is scant, but hopefully the should be enough to reveal the herb. Look for a growing moss. We circled the lake until we signed arrive on the other side of the river opposite where we started, but no growing plants revealed themselves. There's plenty of sunlight at the lake's centre, but towards the edges there's still enough tree coverage to make things dark. Do you think we need our own light? I suppose it can't hurt to try. Will takes out a torch and some flint and ignites the torch without much effort. Will waves the torch over the water's edge and I see movement beneath the surface. Looks like you spooked the fish. If this light is bright enough to frighten the fish, then it must be bright enough to reveal any jewel that we may find here. Will and I began retracing our steps around the water's edge, circling back around. On the side of the lake opposite the river when I hear a low groan. Did you hear that? Yes, it sounds like the ground is shifting. Where is it coming from? I see Silverow's pointed ears twitch about, testing the air before focusing on a tree behind us. It seems to be coming from this tree. Will ranges in short to illuminate the tree, and much like coating on trees off the trunk begins sparkling. Daniel, do you see that? Yes, I can see it. I think I can reach it if I can stand on a lower branch. Keep that torch steady. I leap up and grab hold of the lowest branch. I steady myself and begin lifting myself up, but the branch begins shaking. I lose my grip and fall on my back. Daniel, are you alright? I'm fine, I just lost my grip. I guess that branch isn't as strong as I thought it was. I could probably make it to the next branch up if I shimmy my way up with the trunk. I wrap my arms around the base of the tree and hoist my feet off the ground. Then I wrap my legs around, dig my heels into the bark, and use that to anchor myself as I inch up. I repeat that several times before the wood begins vibrating. I lose my footing and fall to the ground, thankfully landing on my feet this time. What happened? It's odd, the tree trunks just started shaking. I don't think it was bending under my weight. This trunk looks too sturdy for someone like me to bring it down. Could it be the ground? Do you feel a tremor? I felt no tremor. If the tree is shaking you off, I wonder what? I wonder if this tree might be shaking deliberately. What do you mean? Is someone hiding in the tree and shaking it? I mean the tree itself. I've never had any occasion to observe this myself, but being a druid, I've heard rumours of druid who use magic to animate trees. I wonder if this tree might actively be repelling your advances. Can you unanimate it? Animating a tree is something that's squarely outside my area of expertise. Reversing that process is something I'm just as incapable of, but I think I may be able to discern what may be trying to protect itself from. Druids have a unique empathy for trees in most cases. This simply means that the druids can feel the pain or health of the tree. But if I concentrate, I think I may be able to communicate with it. Let's try then. Pharrell stands against the tree, leaning it back as he places both his hands on the tree's trunks and closes his eyes. He begins muttering some chant I can't quite make out and enters a trance-like state. Pharrell's lips continue moving in some unfamiliar pattern for several minutes, and I notice a familiar glow emanating from his hands when they touch the tree's bark. Suddenly the branches erupt from the base of the trunk and wrap around Pharrell. Before I can react, his chest is completely enveloped in the wood. Pharrell, are you alright? My eyes snap open completely white and he begins to speak in a gravely voice. Do not venture any further. Who are you? What are you? My name is Jaya. I am the elder tree that watches over these woods. Your companion attempted to commune with me. However, his mind is a flurry of emotions and disconnected thoughts that I could not comprehend. He chose to lend me the use of his voice so that I might speak directly to you. Protecting them with this wood was my duty, and afterwards to fall into decay, and I have withered along with them. When did the wood begin decaying? I cannot tell you exactly when it began. We trees do not see the time the same as those as yourself, half-elf. All I know is that I felt corruption deep onto the forest when an eerie mist began creeping through it. Those mists brought the stench of decay and rot with them, and every day the vim that flows through the trees of this forest weakens. The mist you see is my enemy as well. I'm part of a group that's fighting the corruption that is spreading through Namar. Many people have been killed in the plains surrounding it as well. The name Namar means nothing to me, and I care not for the woes of your people. The corruption of the plains and the corruption of these woods come from the same source. We are fighting the same enemy. Where does this corruption stem from? We do not know precisely, but we do know whatever the source of evil is, it lurks within the castle of Namar. Castle? This is a word devoid of meaning to me. It's a large man-made structure, it's a fortress, a barrier that protects wherever is spreading the corruption through these lands. We want to terminate that corruption in its source. If we succeed in our mission, your woods will be free of that bite as well. Very well, however. It would appear that we are not enemies. We may in fact share a common enemy. What brought you to these woods? We came seeking jewelwort. Jewelwort is a herb which stores vim. It has been critical to allow me to survive as long as I have. What use have you for jewelwort? My companion, the one you are speaking to, is that with jewelwort he will be able to save the life of the child now. I see it as the survival of the boy critical to your mission to extinguish the plague covers these lands. Yes. Yes it is. Da, 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 da. I won't lie. I've told them before, and now doesn't seem a good time to stop. My companion is a healer. We need his powers to defend the undead, and he is that jewelwort to use his powers. I say, if our interests are truly aligned, I suppose giving you what remains of this jewelwort would help me as well. However, I cannot live long without it. Recently, the undead have been crawling through these woods. The power I draw from this jewelwort is all that allows me to repel them. Without the jewelwort, I and the rest of the woods will be dead within several cycles of the sun. I'm sorry, I understand your need for the jewelwort, but my need of it is far more immediate. Even if I lend it to you, well, your mission may fail. And in either case, responsibility first and foremost is the protection of these woods. You say that you can live for a period of several days without a jewel. By day, I mean the cycle of the sun. We call the rising and setting of the sun one day. That is correct. The corruption that seeps through this soil and the dead that follow that tainted ground are slow to move, but their creep is inevitable as it is slow. What if you lent the jewelwort to us long enough for us to complete our mission? We can return it to you when we are finished. I do not understand. Jewelwort is a herb. Would your mission not consume it? My companion has the ability to tune his healing abilities through living plants, perhaps in the same way that you do. I do not fully understand it, but I do know that he has the capability to use it and still have it intact afterwards. Interesting. Although I cannot directly communicate with your companion, I do sense good intentions from him. It would seem that what you say is true. It would seem that you are a trustworthy party. Very well, you may borrow what remains of my jewelwort. Please return it when you are dead. I can survive several cycles in the sun without it, but any longer than that, and you place the life of these woods in jeopardy, I trust you will not take that responsibility too lightly. Of course, thank you, JR. The branches that blind Pearl's body contract and sink forward back into the bark of the tree, and the glow fades from his eyes as he stumbles forward. Well, are you alright? Are you? You? Well, pats his own chest. It's all me in here, don't worry. One of the trees and branches bends downwards, standing to the ground to level with my eyes, sparking her breast at the edge of the branch. It seems we managed to find what we came for. It's ours to borrow and not to keep, but actually feel that you need to restore the elf boy's help. In that case, we'll have to endeavour to be good stewards of this gift we've been given, temporarily though it may be. Bear and I trace our steps through the forest. The sun is low in the sky by the time we reach its edge, and we cross the plains of Noir back to Grimar into the taupe sky. We're safe here. Let them out. There's no one to see today. No. Selfish waste. What with Larry? Larry, Daniel, it's good to see you. I'm actually thinking about you recently. Or at least our mission. What have you been thinking about in particular? Well, it has occurred to me that if defeating whatever lurks in Noir's castle is really the most important thing that I can be doing, I should act more like it. But the truth is, I spend more time doing many other things that aren't related directly to the mission. You've been doing other things such as, for example, yesterday I led several Jew marches to a jackal nest near the settlement. The jackals have been menacing our centuries, you see, so I decided the best thing to do was act preemptively and break up the pack before they grew in numbers and strength. Was that really necessary? You said it was a small group. Yes, in fact, it's more important than ever to strike me like when we did. You must realise jackals themselves are communal animals. They travel in packs, so when you find a small group of jackals, it's likely that they're splintered off from a larger group. Larger groups and smaller groups often do their dirty work. No, not quite the opposite. When a smaller group of jackals fractures from the main pack, it is often because they're ostracised by a larger group. And like people, jackals understand the need for community. So the jackals that ostracize them often tend to be the ones that are most aggressive and most likely to kill indiscriminately. Think about it, if a jackal is part of a large pack, it doesn't make sense for them to target a group of people. There's too much risk of retaliation, and we have the means to defend ourselves. They're much better off hunting smaller prey. Jackals can even eat venomous snakes. Trying to make a meal out of venomous snakes seems dangerous. The snake's venom is all in their fangs, so it's not eating itself that is a danger. Yes, I'm aware of that, but the risk of being bitten seems... well, it's certainly something I would consider. Venomous snake bites intended to incapacitate smaller prey. It won't be enough to kill a jackal. The jackal might get sick, but it won't die. A person with a spear, however, is very likely to pose a mortal threat to a jackal. That is why when jackals begin menacing our settlement, that we feel the need to be so aggressive about defending ourselves. That's all very interesting, Larry. Yes, it's taken up most of my attention lately. The more I think about it, the more I wonder if I should really have gone myself. Why would you feel guilty about that? This is something that people have done before. I could have other members of the tribe handle the task, but I felt the need to go out myself to deliver the punishment to jackals with my own axe. Why? I could have left the jackals to my followers while I focused on much bigger problems like Namar. Larry, you going out to kill those jackals was doing your duty for Namar. I don't understand. If you want to be an effective tool of destruction against the undead, you need to keep your warrior's instinct sharp. I can't think of a better way to do that than by saying jackals. But I could have been off in Namar fighting shambling undead. I don't think so, Larry. I think Namar is your proving ground. I think that's where your mettle will be tested. But I think this desert has so much to teach you about being a warrior. And I think it will continue to be a place where you can learn new lessons. You may pick up new skills in Namar, but also treat the desert as a place where you can improve yourself for the battle that lies ahead. Actually, this is why I travel alone most of the time. The people that I fight alongside have their own lives to attend to, and oftentimes simply allowing them to live their own lives with a bit of suggestion and interaction from me as a way that they can come up with new skills to bring to the battlefield. I see. You say that you give them instruction. Do you lay out a training regiment for them? No, nothing quite as rigid as that. I let them decide what to do. I bet with a small amount of suggestion and guidance from time to time. Followers, even simple foot soldiers, can be creative people. There are times when I've had followers who've come up to me completely impromptu to tell me that they studied or developed some kind of new technique that they thought would help in battle. Interesting. How did you get people to come up with these creative ideas? I didn't get them to come up with creative ideas. It's something they did on their own. But I think in some cases, just being there with them as a companion helped give theme the confidence to take initiative and come to me with new ideas. If they have questions, I answer them. I don't come and tell them that they're the best way to prepare for battle all of the time. Well then, I have a question for you, Daniel. I'm happy to answer it. It's not my own role in the battlefield. You see, when I take my June March warriors into battle, I fill the role as leader. I enable my tribesmen to fight to the best of their ability. Sometimes that means leading by example. If they see me rushing into a battle yelling with my axe overdrawn ahead, it inspires them to follow me into battle with the same fervour. When it's a time to charge, I don't want my tribesmen to make any risks that I myself wouldn't be willing to make. Hang on a second. Options. There we go. However, there are times when the best thing I can do is unlock my companion's potential, is to play a supportive role. Sometimes swinging my own axe is less important than making sure that everyone around me is also swinging theirs. It occurs to me that when I go into battle with you, I won't be the leader of the group, so I'm curious to hear what you think I ought to do with myself. What role would you have me in, Daniel? I need to be aggressive and focus on hurting the enemy. With that deadly looking axe of yours, I think you know better as a tool of destruction. That doesn't mean you can't occasionally help a friend in need, but I think I'd rather have you prioritize on brutalising your foes. Woo! Oh my lord. Can I have gay sex now? Lark looks at his axe and turns it over in his hands a few times. Thank you, Daniel. I'll take this under advisement and see what I can implement in my own training. Truth been told, it's actually been a while since I sparred with the younger warriors in my clan, but I think it's good to try out new things and make sure I don't lose my edge. I'll let you know if I come up with any creative ideas to use my talents in combat. Nothing happened. Amazon Citadel. Talk with Lena. Daniel! Turn the music up a bit. Turn it up. Lena. Hello. Lena doesn't actually ask what I'm doing, but sensing starting into curiosity instead of engaged, I'll go ahead and explain. I was just observing the people inside the Citadel, and I have to admit that I find Amazon society pretty interesting. Everyone here works towards a common goal. I don't think I've come across a single idle person in the whole Citadel. That sounds like a compliment. That's probably because it's meant to be. What you Amazons have accomplished here is impressive to say the least. Thanks, Daniel. It's quite different than the Chaos of Grimrock, isn't it? I can agree with that much, though. What is it? It's just, well, I feel like people in Grimrock have more freedom. More freedom? What do you mean by that? There's no slavery in Grimrock. Oh, really? Yes, and you know, of course I know, I was just being sarcastic. Why? Let me explain. You say no slaves in Grimrock. Yes, I know explicit laws that allow slavery. But in practice there are slaves in Grimrock too. Mass amounts of poor people in the streets. People who owe money to banks. People who owe their freedom to the Empire's army. For the believers, they are tied to their respective gods' traditions. I don't see that all that freedom you were talking about, Daniel. One could be a slave without being labelled one. Well, I don't entirely agree. That's an interesting perspective. Ooh, da, 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 da. I'm glad that you find my reasoning interesting, at least. That Grimrock. Good talk with the man. Oh, we've got to go. He's sitting outside the city gates. sitting on the ground with both of his hands wrapped around the handle of his hammer. Hey, Galan. Galan looks at me, blinking. Oh, sorry, did I miss into something? I was meditating. Sorry, I didn't realise. I saw you holding your weapon, thought you were repairing it or something. If you don't mind my asking, why did you have your hammer out while meditating? I can understand your confusion. The truth is, I've been thinking of ways to apply my meditation techniques more directly. What do you mean? Fundamentally, meditation is about mindfulness, being in the present and fully aware of the space around you. That includes physical sensations, even things simple as a feel of the chair underneath you as you sit, or the sensation of your own weight pressing down on your heels as you stand. That sounds really intense. In my recent meditation, I've been focusing on the sensation of this handle. Just forcing myself to be present-minded as I hold this hammer has made me much more comfortable handling it. Are you sure? The idea that you get better at wielding a hammer just from mental exercises seems a bit far-fetched. Oh no, I don't mean to exaggerate the significance of this meditation practice. It's not as if I suddenly became better at swinging a hammer just because I concentrated a lot on the feel of the grip, but it has made me quite more consistent. What's that supposed to mean? Have you ever had that feeling in battle where you just feel like you are in the zone? There are moments when you feel supreme clarity, when you feel mentally energized, almost like you're in a trance of letting you do all the things you want to do. No doubts in your mind, no misgivings, just pure focus on the exact thing you're doing, whether that's swinging a weapon or parrying a blow. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's hard to describe exactly what it is, but there are some days where I just feel on. Just like there are some days where I feel a bit off. Exactly. For me, being present-minded makes me feel like I'm always on when I pick up this hammer. That focus isn't going to magically allow me to perform feats that I wouldn't otherwise be capable of, but it does feel like I can fight to my full potential all of the time. I'm just a little better at handling this hammer than I was before, but when you're fighting for your life, sometimes being a bit better can make all the difference. That sounds great, Galan. I'm glad that your meditative practice seems to be paying off for you. I've been thinking of what to do when this whole business with Noir is over and done with. Already decided on a new career. I've been thinking about the monk that introduced me to meditative practice in the first place. I've learned to achieve a better state of present-mindedness, but truth be told, I think that I know very little when it comes to meditative practice. Furthermore, my meditation has been focused on being present-minded. It's an exercise in trying to take in the world around me, but there's more to this world than things we can see with our eyes and touch with our hands. Lately, my mind has been turning to matters of the everlasting. Are you thinking of joining our monastery? I've thought about it. However, joining any order of monks is a massive commitment. It's not the kind of decision I'd make lightly. Do I really want to devote the rest of my life to that kind of practice? The idea frightens me a little. And the more that I learn about such things, the more I realise I am content with the way my life is right now. I'm not looking to massively change who I am or what I do. What I do know is right now my life has a purpose, and that purpose is slaying the undead. Do 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 do. Everyone has a gangbang, has a gangbang. Then let's work together and make that come to fruition. Of course, Daniel, of course. Blah blah blah. No one else to talk to. God, everyone to talk to. There's Grand Tree. Talk with Kusha. Ready to go to Triberg and finish the job with Daniel? Yes, I'm ready. Kusha brings you to the Noxus event estate in Triberg. We stand off the main road, but the hustle and bustle people carrying about their morning business is still clearly audible from where we stand. Wow, Clemens is here to make his maker. The question are you ready to send him there? I suppose I'm meant to be ready, but I'm still a bit uneasy with this infiltration by daylight plan that you have. I understand when you want to strike when least expected, but isn't it an infiltration? Like, there's something better to be done under the cover of darkness, even if people are more paranoid at night. I think that sneaking about would be easier without daylight exposing of every movement. Your suggestion that infiltration by night is less easily detected is both logical and intuitive. And like many logical and intuitive assumptions, it is wrong. Look around us, what do you see? Lots of people, lots of potential witnesses. No, not witnesses. They won't see us do the deed. The people who'll be walking the streets. These are distractions. If we find ourselves needing to flee, there will be a place to get lost. Think about it this way. What kind of people slink around in the shadows at night? People who are up to no good, that's who. At night, even the most minor disturbances are investigated with some amount of rigour, but if someone hears a din outside during daytime, they don't bat an eye. That's why daytime is the best time to infiltrate. Morning, best of all, since we're infiltrating through an east-facing window, we'll have the sun on our backs. Guards inside the estate won't be watching the top of the eastern wall, and even if they do happen to glance our direction, the sun will be in their eyes. They may see motion, but the daytime, that motion could be anything. A bird's, a child's kite. Whatever excuse they want. Besides, you said it yourself, the prevailing notion is that infiltration is a crime best before under cover of darkness. In the bright morning sun, nobody will be expecting a sneak attack. You want to surprise someone? Attack them where and when they feel the safest. Fisher leads me off the main roadway to a tree he showed me yesterday. Fisher ducks behind the tree to guide from pedestrians on the main roadway and gestures for me to follow him. You know how to climb a tree? Of course I do. Good, follow me. Fisher scrambles up the tree trunks and in a moment he's concealed in the foliage. I follow behind as quickly as I can. Quite fortuitous for this tree to be right outside the estate walls. Knox is a man who prizes things like beauty more than safety. Even the guards patrolling the front of the estate are there mostly for aesthetic purposes. They're for intimidation, not fighting. Just look at the size of the weapons they're carrying. They look deadly, but a lance like that is best suited to the battlefield, not a yard where they could face close quarters combat. I doubt any of those men have seen real combat at all during their times with Knox. I don't intend to get caught, but if we do, I think we have the means to fight our way out. So, we have a backup exit strategy. You still haven't told me what the entry strategy is. Ah, of course. Show draws my attention to a crossbow that is mounted on one of the tree branches. You've been storing this thing up here. What can I say? I'm an elf. When I see a tree, I feel obliged to make myself at home. And the foliage of this tree is dense enough to hide both of us and any gadgets and tools I might want to store here. Christo lays himself out on a tree branch and aims a crossbow. You're going to shoot him with that thing? Unfortunately, no. Although I consider myself an accomplished sniper, and I often take great pride in claiming credit for my skills, this is a special job. I don't want this to look like the work of an outsider. A crossbow fire through a window just won't do. The kill's going to have to be more intimate than that. So what's a crossbow gun for? Daniel, do you know what a harpoon is? Yes. Okay, sex again. Yes, I once met a whaler who acquainted me with the device. It seemed like a brutal way to kill sea animals. My understanding is that the beast would often remain alive as the harpoon remained embedded in his flesh, and it would bleed out as he was dragged back to shore. As it turns out, these hooks and barbs are good at catching the side of his flesh. Watch. Fisher fires the harpoon, and it flies through the air, embedding itself above Clement's open window. Nobody heard that. It's broad daylight. Loud sounds during daylight hours aren't such an unusual thing. Fisher yanks the rope connected to the harpoon, pulling it taut before tying it to one of the branches of the tree. Now we have our entry point and escape route.